The International English Language Testing System, IELTS, is designed to help one work, study or migrate to a country where English is the native language, including countries such as Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the UK and USA. It's considered to be the world's most popular English language proficiency test for higher education and global migration. One's ability to listen, read, write and speak in English will be assessed during the IELTS test. IELTS is graded on a scale of 1 to 9. IELTS is jointly owned by the British Council, IDP, IELTS Australia and Cambridge English. More than 11,000 organizations globally trust IELTS, so when you take the test you can be confident that it is recognized by educational institutions, employers, governments and professional bodies around the world. As one of the pioneers of 4 skills-based English language tests starting 30 years ago, IELTS continues to set the standard for English language testing today. Governments in Australia, Canada, New Zealand and the United Kingdom use IELTS to process immigration applications. Even if one is applying for work, study, or a visa, the IELTS test is similar in terms of examiners, content, format, difficulty level, and scoring. If one can't find your test results satisfactory, there is no restriction on how often he/she can retake the exam. Though it is recommended to take out some time and study more before appearing for your next attempt. In several countries, language classes and preparatory courses are offered by test centers, also one can look for the same online. IELTS has been developed by some of the world's leading language assessment experts and will test the full range of English skills needed for success in your new job or study placement abroad. One will be assessed on the following elements: listening, reading, writing, speaking. Through the listening test, one is evaluated on how he/she understands main ideas and specific factual information, recognizes the opinions, attitudes and purpose of a speaker, follows the development of an argument. Recording 1, a conversation between 2 people set in an everyday social context. Recording 2, a monologue set in an everyday social context, e.g. a speech about local facilities. Recording 3, a conversation between up to 4 people set in an educational or training context, e.g. a university tutor and a student discussing an assignment. Recording 4, a monologue on an academic subject, e.g. a university lecture. Listening test takes approximately 30 minutes, and one is allowed to get an extra 10 minutes to transfer answers from question booklet to answer sheet. There are 40 questions given like multiple choice, matching, plant map, diagram labeling, form, note, table, flowchart, summary completion, sentence completion. Marks. Each correct answer receives 1 mark. Scores out of 40 are converted to the IELTS 9-band scale. Scores are reported in whole and half bands. For a quick and efficient reading, time management is needed. In the reading test, 3 different passages and related questions will be asked. The IELTS reading test is designed to assess a wide range of reading skills, including how well one can read for detail, understand inferences and implied meaning, recognize a writer's opinions, attitudes and purpose. In a reading test, 3 texts are chosen ranging from the descriptive and factual to the discursive and analytical. These texts are often from books, journals, magazines and newspapers. Total duration is 60 minutes including the transfer time. There are 40 questions given like multiple choice, matching, plant map, diagram labeling, form, note, table, flowchart, summary completion, sentence completion. Each correct answer receives 1 mark. Scores out of 40 are converted to the IELTS 9-band scale. Scores are reported in whole and half bands. The written test focuses on how one can write a response appropriately, organize ideas, use a range of vocabulary and grammar accurately. In academic writing, formal style writing is the main priority. Hence, one is given 2 tasks. In task 1 there is a graph, table, chart or diagram. And the question is to describe, summarize or explain the information in one's own words. In task 2 an essay is to be written in response to a point of view, argument or problem. Or it might be to find the issues interesting and easy to understand. Writing test takes 60 minutes, 20 minutes on task 1 and 40 minutes on task 2. Word limit is at least 150 for task 1 and 250 for task 2. Writing test will be marked by a certificated IELTS examiner. Task 2 is worth twice as much as Task 1 in the IELTS writing test. Scores are reported in whole and half bands. In general training writing, the topics are of general interest. There are 2 tasks given also. In Task 1 a situation is presented and one has to write a letter requesting information or explaining the situation. Letters can be in a personal, semi-formal or formal style. In Task 2 an essay is to be written in response to a point of view, argument or problem. One can use a fairly personal style. All other criteria are similar to that of academic writing. The IELTS speaking test is interactive and as close to a real-life situation as a test can get. A variety of accents may be used, and the test will be recorded. One will have to speak with a certified IELTS examiner. The content of the test is the same for both the IELTS academic and IELTS general training tests. Through the test, one has to communicate opinions and information on everyday topics and common experiences. A range of questions is to be answered. One has to speak at length on a given topic using appropriate language. Part 1 Introduce oneself, question on familiar topics, e.g. home, family, work, studies and interests. Part 2 Task card is given, one has to talk about a particular topic in 1 to 2 minutes, lastly some questions are asked regarding the topic. Part 3 Further questions are asked according to the topic of Part 2, these questions are designed to explore more abstract issues and ideas. Total duration is 11 to 14 minutes. One will be assessed on his/her performance throughout the test by certified IELTS examiners. 4 criteria that are judged in the test: fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. Scores are reported in whole and half bands. As mentioned before, there are 2 IELTS tests available, IELTS Academic or IELTS General Training. The test you choose should be based on what it is you want to do. IELTS Academic measures whether one's level of English language proficiency is suitable for an academic environment. It reflects aspects of academic language and evaluates whether he/she is ready to begin training or studying. IELTS General Training measures English language proficiency in a practical, everyday context. The tasks and tests reflect both workplace and social situations. If you are taking the IELTS test to support a UK visa application to work, live or study in the UK, you may need to take the IELTS for UK visas and immigration, UKVI, academic or general training or the IELTS for life skills test. Therefore these are the fundamental knowledge of IELTS in a nutshell. Now let's take a look at some relevant information regarding IELTS and how does it facilitate us. IELTS is jointly owned by British Council, IDP, IELTS Australia and Cambridge Assessment English. The specialities of IELTS are: it is accessible and convenient, the international test, tried and trusted test, and it has band scoring system. In academic and general reading as well as in listening, the IELTS score standards are indifferent. When someone's raw score in IELTS reading and listening is 39 or 40, then his/her band score is 9. And just like that, the band scores for raw scores like 37 to 38, 35 to 36, 32 to 34, 30 to 31, 26 to 29, 23 to 25, 18 to 22, 16 to 17, 13 to 15 and 11 to 12 are 8.5, 8, 7.5, 7, 6.5, 6, 5.5, 5, 4.5 and 4 respectively. And also depending on the marks obtained as band scores, it's understood how much the person excels in communicating in English. Such as band score 9 means the person is an expert user, 8 refers to a very good user, 7 means he/she is a good user. Thus one is classified as competent, modest, limited, extremely limited, intermittent and non-user on the scores of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 respectively. IELTS test users may find the Council of Europe's Common European Framework of Reference for Languages (CEFR) helpful. The framework is a series of descriptions of abilities at different learning levels that can be applied to any language. It can provide a starting point for interpreting and comparing different language qualifications and is increasingly used as a way of benchmarking language ability around the world. Marking an individual's language skills along a 6-mark scale ranging from A1, beginners, to C2, advanced. IELTS teachers can map scores against the Common European Framework to help gauge a student's language ability. The detailed infographic is shown here in comparison with IELTS band scores. That's all, in brief, an introductory video on IELTS. Hope this video will be resourceful for you to gain primary idea about IELTS. Thank you for your time.